Oh, wow. Are you going skiing anytime soon, Mel? I know it was snowing there last week, but I think it all cleared.
Yeah, it's freezing here, and but can I say, look at yourself, buddy. This is the first time I've ever seen you wearing a coat. In fact, I'm wondering, are you actually wearing shoes?
Uh,
That would be a first.
yeah, no, still, I am still barefoot. I'm still earthing. And yeah, this is the most rugged up I've ever been. It is freezing. Now I know what a winter is finally, Mel.
Yeah, yeah. They told me, they promised me covering cricket was going to be an endless summer. What the hell did I believe them for? Let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome to the good, the bad, and the ridiculous on a freezing winter's day in Orange and Adelaide, and a pretty wet day again in England. But hopefully, the rain will stay off in both Bristol and Southampton, and we'll see two tests going on. Too much excitement going on, but we were treated to some more intriguing test match cricket in Bristol. This test just keeps delivering, really. It's kind of amazing. Hello to everyone there. Hello, Hitesh Moria, who says, welcome back. Yes, thank you. It's nice to see us there. And yes, it is a rainy season day. Great for all of you, or grateful to all of you for joining us. You excited about this test match?
Yeah, well, it's the most exciting test match happening right now, but even at least one that is happening. No, I think it's look. I think that both teams have also contributed to it. India, in a way, with their collapse, towards the end of day two and the start of day three. But also, a lot of teams in this position might not have enforced the follow-on. But I think it was a brave call by the English, considering how well the openers had played, for India in the first innings, and considering there is a lot of experience in that middle order. But look, they've taken the call and they've made a match of it.
Well, hopefully that will come in as a nomination so you can discuss that in depth. Now, Best Avenue is saying, nice coat, Bharat, but there are lots of sort of cry laughing emojis there. So I'm not... and Gaurav Nandan Tripathi says, Bharat looks like Kanye West with better hair in that woolly jacket. Okay, well, we've had Kumar Sangakkara. I don't know if anyone's ever said you look like Kanye West before, but
really, there you go.
We'll take that. Let us bring up our first nomination of the day that we received on Twitter. We'll try and get some of your live nominations as well, so please do send them in. Crick Beyond End, one of our regular nominators. Good. Shafali's defence, the form, the high elbow, the head and bat in a straight line, and a slightly tilted bat to blunt the ball, and her face poised in concentration, almost like a monk. Test brings out what you are made of, and Shafali is all steel. I mean, she inspired a poem yesterday. We had a whole poem, and this is quite poetic as well. And to back up what she did in the first innings, with that performance that she has made in the second innings, all that pressure, India in the position they're in, where no one would have given them a small chance of winning, really, I think, when they were collapsing so badly in that first innings. But I mean, we were texting each other about it. I've watched her play a lot now, and yet it still gets me. The shot that gets me, it's not the drive, it's not that smack back over the bowler's head. It's the way that she cuts the ball. It's not like a conventional cut. It's not like you don't see the follow through. She almost like checks the cut. She plays it so late, and it's an incredible shot. And I've written this about Meg Lanning before, that you could put the entire field in that cone between deep point and third, and she would still find the deep backward point boundary. And it's the same thing with Shafali. I don't know how you protect that. If you give her anything, at times she even exposes her stumps to play that shot, and the precision of it. If this cricket thing doesn't work out for her, she could be a teppanyaki chef, because she cuts just with such precision. It's amazing to watch.
Yes, and the best part about the nomination also is that it's about her defensive technique. This mainly Shefali Verma, and you think stroke play, you think about her shots, and like you very eloquently described, I don't even know what to call it, the Shefali
It's like a
gap.
checked cut, isn't it? It's
Like, yeah, I mean, and it's almost like time freezes at that point. It's almost like everything else stops and the ball just stops. And I won't be surprised if someday, she plays that shot with her favorite pose, with her hand on her hip, and she just does that because it's done so. She really has so much time on it, and it's amazing how well she times it, and most importantly, how well she places it because they have tried different fields there, like you said, but she just manages to pierce that gap. But again, she showed yesterday that she has a very strong defense. And yeah, that photo of her really, I don't know if the great Muku can find it online, but that photo where she's just like, her eyes are over the ball, and like Cricket Beyond Entertainment has said, it's bunting the ball, it's killing it, right? It will fall. The famous Rahul Dravid defensive shot where the ball drops by your toes. There's no way it'll go anywhere else. So she's just showing different traits, different aspects of her batting, and how good that is, in not just on a daily basis, but on an hourly basis, really. So there is so much to like about Shefali Verma, love about Shefali Verma's batting. And there you go.
It is. There it is. Look at that. Let's just look at that. Wow.
Yeah. Seriously, yesterday we got a poem. This picture speaks many words, I think. So it's just
wow,
something very special about this young girl. And yeah, even this, how relaxed she was while walking off. When it started raining, one of the many rain breaks they had in Bristol. Her partner Dipti Sharma just ran off. She was just ambling across the field, and then they had her on camera in the stand. She's just so relaxed in her first Test match at 17. It's just remarkable.
That picture reminds me to get all arty. This probably sounds ridiculous. It's like a dancer's pose. It's like a Degas kind of, the famous sculptor Degas. He did all those sculptures of dancers and ballerinas, and that there's just something about that is just so incredible. I find that amazing. It's fantastic to see. So yes, that's an incredibly good nomination. Hard to get past anything to do with Shefali Verma in this. Now, another nomination. Let's bring up another one because I think we might have some that also agree with that who are online at the moment. That cricket head, Catherine Brunt, getting phased by a 17-year-old and making faces at her, literally. But what a contest between two generations, just like Punt and Anderson. I did notice one early on that said, from Royal Dong, our friend Royal Dong, hello Royal, good, Brunt making faces after getting bullied by a 17-year-old schoolgirl. I mean, here's the thing about Catherine Brunt. She is one of the most entertaining players in the women's game. I absolutely love her. She's always been brilliant. You'll see those faces. It's almost like an Ishant Sharma and the faces that he makes as well. Catherine Brunt has been doing that in the women's game. She is so expressive, and that just added to it. And there was nothing nasty about it or anything like that. But this was brilliant. I have absolutely loved seeing this contest between the two of those, and to see someone of the experience of Catherine Brunt, the freshness. Catherine Brunt hates being carted back over her head, probably more than any bowler in the entire world. And she is so fiery and so passionate. And I just have loved seeing the sort of fierce, I think it's a fierce but respectful contest. The two of them going hammer and tongs, the sort of the insouciance of Shefali Verma, and the fact that it's got Catherine Brunt riled up. But it's been really, really awesome to watch.
For me, the Catherine Brunt reaction that really stood out was one of the times where Shefali Verma just had a wild swing at her and she missed the ball. And she just, that sense of, she was just so amused by this young kid who's half her age. Just being so audacious against, like you said, one of the most fiery characters in women's cricket. And as it turned out, I was doing the dishes late last night, like I always do. And I don't know whether you still had the TV on, Mel. So once they went off for the final time, they started showing that documentary. I don't know what it's called, on the England women's team leading up to the 2017 World Cup.
Yeah.
And there was this one clip I remember. So all wonderful behind the scenes footage. In one scene, I think they're in West Indies, where Alex Hartley is asked to mimic Catherine Brunt in, like, in the dressing room where Catherine Brunt is still around. And yeah, she just like runs in and says like, "Why me?" And like I think it's she pretends like Catherine Brunt is bowled a no ball, or the umpire's gone no ball, and she just shows Catherine Brunt losing her head, and you can see Catherine Brunt sitting there and saying, "Yeah, I would probably have done that." It's just, yeah, she's just one of those amazing characters who's been around for such a long time, and it's such a wonderful bowler. I mean, even and we will speak about her bowling later on in the show. We just can't not speak about it, but she was just yeah. I mean, I think it was just a sense of not just amusement, a sense of like, being awed by this teenager who's just doing special things. We've seen that a lot. Yes, a lot of bowlers have. Jimmy Anderson's reaction to Rishabh Pant was kind of similar, but of course Rishabh Pant was not making his debut, and Rishabh Pant's been around a few years in international cricket. So yeah, I mean, it was just sensational. And before we move on, as Mel, I think there's a couple of things we need to talk about. Yes, best avenue thinks I should be writing more books, and like hopefully I will be doing that. But also, I mean, there is some tragic news coming in from India. Yes, Swaraj Chavan, the greatest of them all, Milkha Singh, passed away yesterday after a long battle with COVID. I don't know how much you know about Milkha Singh, Mel. He was Mr. Athletics for us. Like, he was the greatest ever. There's been movies made about him, and yeah, I mean, he pretty much was, if I'm not mistaken, the first big sports person out of independent India. So it just tells you how massive a presence he's been on not just Indian sport, but India as a country. And our prayers are with his family. And yeah, I mean, tragic loss indeed.
Yes, thanks, Swaraj Chavan, for bringing that up as well for us. We really appreciate that, and for your contribution. Okay, so then the next one is also one we've had, not surprisingly, a few things on. So from Amite Yuzengups. Okay, that's a very confusing thing to say on there, isn't it? Amite Yuzengups.
Sengupt 5, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, you know who you are, and we are grateful for your nomination. Ridiculously good. What an amazing delivery from Catherine Brunt to dismiss Pooja Vastraka. And Ranveer Pandey also ridiculous. Catherine Brunt delivery, just an incredible delivery, period. We've got on there. And I think we've also got, where was another one? There was another one quite early, I think. Yes, there was. It was from Rohit Arora. Ridiculously good. The seed from Brunt to dismiss Vastraka. Honestly, that I've already watched it, I think, approximately 637 times, maybe 638, as soon as that came up. What an absolute stonker of a delivery that was. I mean, that's will we see another delivery as good as that over the British summer? I don't know. Someone actually pointed out to me, it was brilliant, the way it came, the way it curved slightly in, straightened up, as someone said, just nicked the top of off stump, that off bail. Just someone did tweet to me, which made me laugh, and said if Vastraka had got her leg in the way, she might have been safe on umpire's call, because it only just tickled the top of off stump. But what an amazing delivery that was. It was just perfect.
Dream ball, right? Yeah, I mean, it's amazing why it's generally the spin bowlers in men's and women's cricket who end up bowling balls of the century. For me, that was right up there with one of the balls of the 21st century. It was just an extremely perfect delivery, right? I mean, not just the fact that it hit the top of off, which is what every bowler is trying to do every time he or she has a ball in his or her hand, but also completely, like, that angle, it just went in and then left at the last moment. It was just poetry in motion when it comes to bowling, fast bowling. And yeah, I mean, that is what Catherine Brunt is all about, right? Like, yeah, I mean, she might have been bullied a little by Shefali Verma, and yes, it was a tail-ender who she got out, but yeah, I mean, that ball would have got anyone out at any level, whether you're man, woman, or anyone playing the sport. So it was just that good a delivery, and it should hopefully be counted as one of the best deliveries we've seen in the 21st century so far.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. And we didn't get a nomination for this, but it's hard to talk about Catherine Brunt without talking about Anya Shrubsole, because the two of them have been around for a long time. I know you don't know about Harry Potter, but I've always said that Shrubsole and Brunt sounds like the name of a law firm in a Harry Potter book. Like in Diagon Alley, you go and see Shrubsole and Brunt for all your wizardy lawyer needs. Just sounds like it. But what was just so great in that period to see Brunt get the wicket with the ball that moved away from the right-hander, and then Shrubsole coming in the next over and bowling one that came in. And it was just such a great example of why the two of them have been such a good partnership for so long. And also, the thing also I think it's worth mentioning is that Heather Knight, that she gave Brunt an over with the old ball just before taking the new ball, and then she got that wicket with the first ball of the new ball, and thought that was really smart captaincy, actually. But we spoke a little bit about Anya Shrubsole. What did you think of that delivery of hers? I mean, if it hadn't been for that Brunt delivery, I think that would have been the one that everyone went, oh my God.
And I think it's largely been the story of their careers, right? Like Anya Shrubsole has always kind of played, even though she's had great moments, like someone correctly said yesterday, she halted the progress of women's cricket by, winning England the World Cup. But Catherine Brunt is always has been the number one. And it's amazing how their careers have gone parallel with Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad, right? Catherine Brunt, I think, made her debut in 2004. Jimmy Anderson, his test debut a year before that. And Stuart Broad made his test debut in 2007. Look at Brunt and Shrubsole. Brunt makes a debut in 2004. Shrubsole makes a debut in 2008. So the same 4-year gap. And here they are still taking the new ball and producing absolutely magic deliveries. And I told you yesterday, I remember watching Shrubsole in 2013, and I always wanted to watch her in a test match. It's just there's so much about her bowling to like. And I mean, she's though she's unlike Catherine Brunt, though you want to watch her bowl in England. I don't know. There's something about watching Anya Shrubsole bowl in England. And yeah, I mean, it also tells you again not to harp on the same topic over and over again, how special Shefali Verma's innings in both her innings has been. I mean, she's dealing with the best in the world with the new ball. So it's brilliant. And hopefully Brunt and Shrubsole continue for. I mean, they sound like a proper tag team to me. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not from the Harry Potter world, but I'm from the wrestling world. But Brunt and Shrubsole can definitely win some belts in wrestling.
So it's Brunt and Shrubsole sounds better for wrestling. Shrubsole and Brunt sounds better as a law firm. It's just all about the cadence.
It is.
That's how I feel. Okay, go and bring up our next nomination, please. And then I think I've got one to add from the side too. From Crick Beyond Ent again. Good. Sophie's action. That's Sophie Eccleston. So much body involved in it, and it's not typically high arm, helping her concentrate most of her energy in the shoulder area, allowing her to bowl above 80 kilometres with revs and drift, a rarity for women spinners. Her height helps with bounce. There's a lot of analysis there, which I really appreciate. On Eccleston, I'm just going to bring up one from Gaurav Nandan Tripathi, who says, Ecclestone's wands can give a good competition to the Ollivanders. They cast a brilliant spell around batters. That's another Harry Potter reference. I know I have to explain that to you. But Ecclestone's wands near Shrubsole and Brunt, I'm loving all of this. It does sound, it's so English. The names are so English. But Sophie Eccleston, yes, she does cast a brilliant spell. So much pressure on this, even though obviously Heather Knight is there, to back her up. And we've seen Sophia Dunkley bowl as well. But a lot of pressure on Sophie Eccleston. But I don't actually think England would have seen it that way. I think there is so much confidence in Sophie Eccleston and what she can do, and for really good reason. I definitely think that she is the best spinner in the world in women's cricket. Absolutely no doubt about that. And she pushes for the title of best bowler, I think, you could probably argue that she just is the best bowler. She's super skilled and has such control. she's also another one who's a great character. I've been lucky enough to sort of interview her, and she is hilarious. She's almost like a younger Catherine Brunt, in that she's so funny and just so out there. She's an absolute delight, and is very, very tall. I felt really, really short next to her. But I think she's really taken the way. Spinners in the women's game for a long time, there were a lot of spinners, a lot of spinning all-rounders, and there was basically a lot of slow bowling. There wasn't always lots of turn. There was perhaps too much reliance on spin bowling. We're seeing the game change. I think she is a kind of new bowler, and we're seeing some other brilliant spin bowlers, whether it be some of the leggies that are coming out of New Zealand and Australia, whether it's some of the offies who are floating around as well. And I think they're representing this new form of spin that's not just about slow bowling all-rounders. It's real guile and skill.
I think I am going to copy paste the nomination from Cricket Beyond Entertainment, posted on, or send it to some of our journalist friends who are covering the test match in England. Somebody will definitely pick up that line. That's an outstanding description of Sophie Ecclestone's action and what she does with the ball. And as a result of that is why she generates such amazing drift on the ball. Like I tweeted yesterday about, when you see any spinner, like you talk about turn, but with Sophie Ecclestone, she does turn the ball, but the drift she gets on the ball, it's just so classical. It's just classical left arm spin, and you don't get to see too much of classical left arm spin in the men's game. Yes, I mean there are some great really talented left arm spinners like Jadeja and Keshav Maharaj, and I'm sure I'm missing someone good. Ajaz Patel, we saw. But Sophie Ecclestone is a classical left-arm spinner. And, the way she sets up batters as well, it's also very, very classical in style. I was shocked to know that she's yet to pick up a 5-wicket haul in any format. But you just know that it's just a question of her first one. Then she's going to finish up with many 5-wicket hauls. And she's 22 now. So there's so much to go. I mean, we look at some of the people some of the players we've been speaking about the last few days. Shefali Verma aside, Smriti Mandhana is just 23 or 24. Sophie Ecclestone is 22. So while for all the Catherine Brunts, the Mithali Rajas, Julian Goswamis, and Anya Shrubsoles, there's this amazing talent coming through in women's cricket, not just in India and England. Of course, Australia has an abundance of young talent. It just augurs really well for not just the future of women's cricket, but the near future. So a lot of excitement, and we'll have a lot to talk about in women's cricket, and Sophie Ecclestone will be right on top.
And I'm just going to say, I know Kundan and Devas India has been trying very hard to get a comment in. Is Verma the next big thing in women's cricket? Someone like Viru, can she play men's cricket just for a random match or two? Oh, they do sometimes have those exhibition matches. But what I was going to, did you see Sehwag tweet about watching her? He actually tweeted that he was really enjoying watching her bat, and I thought that was really sweet, to sort of see him being excited about watching her. And I don't think she's the next big thing in women's cricket. I actually think she's the big thing now. I think there's so much buzz about her. She is a player right now that you can't help but watch, and she was that last year, like in the T20 World Cup. There was a lot of buzz around her there, and then she had that disappointing match in the final, which was a pretty big occasion. She had the drop catch, and she was out cheaply, but I think she's just grown more from that, and she's massive to watch here. I can't wait to see her play in Australia in a few months' time as well. That's going to be absolutely brilliant. So I'm sure that Virender Sehwag will be watching her career very closely. And no one has nominated the declaration. We did sort of say something about it early on at the start, but is it a ridiculously good thing, that nomination? How often do we see in Test cricket a seriously sporty declaration? Obviously, there would have been half an eye on that weather. India had just had that massive collapse, but there was always the danger that you give Sharma another go, and they did manage to get out. It was very disappointing. I think that Smriti Mandhana wicket, that when she fell early on. But while ever Sharma is there, I mean, you thought that England had enough by a long way, but I ain't counting her out. Like, while ever she's out there, bringing Deepti Sharma in early in response, and she just played it perfectly. She just blocked and was very patient, gave her the strike. But we don't often see a sporting declaration like that. It feels to me like it's really left this game open.
It is. I mean, they could easily have come back and batted, and then Then you're talking about another kind of declaration. You're talking about how long will England want to bat, and will they want to? When will they? And just think about it, right? If England had batted again and not enforced the follow-on with all the rain breaks, you knew where you were headed. This game would definitely have been headed for a draw, because they wouldn't have got enough momentum, enough rhythm to really be in a position to set a total up for India. Because I don't think, especially with the way Shefali Verma is batting and Smriti Mandhana and all that experience in the middle order, nothing short of 300. So I think that would have led us to a dead end. But this way, they've kept the game really alive. I mean, I thought the declaration in the first innings where again, it looked like, with Sophia Dunkley out there still batting, that they could have gone for, just batted on, made 450. But I think they cut their innings short at the right time, even the intent they showed on the second morning. And yeah, I remember I watched the Charlotte Edwards and Mel Jones talk about it during one of the breaks about should the captain sit before a test match. And I think Ebony was also part of that conversation and discuss how do we want to approach this test match, because what everyone wants now is for women to play more test cricket. So it's a lot of pressure riding on this match, right? It almost has become like an exhibition of this is how exciting women's test cricket could be. So there is pressure on both teams to make it an exciting match. And so far, I think they both played their roles in that.
Yeah, in the last Ashes test in Australia, Meg Lanning copped a huge amount for not being aggressive enough in that match, which petered out to a draw. And that is the problem every time women play a test. As I intimated the other day, it's like they're trying to prove that they should have the right to play test matches. So the pressure is on them far more than it is on men's test cricketers to actually make it exciting and to make it a spectacle. If there's a crap men's test, people go, well, that was a crap test. If it's a crap women's test, people go, oh, women's test cricket's crap. That's basically the added pressure that they have on them. So it was a huge risk. Maybe it's also, this test I think is worth 4 points. They share 2 for a draw. It's really important to get the weighting in these multi-format series right, so that there's not too much. When they started it off in the series against Australia, between Australia and England back in 2012, 2013 summer in Australia, they had too much. I think the test might have been worth 8 or something points, and it was too much. So it makes them too fearful to lose it, because you lose that and it's really hard to win a series. So that's really important, and I think that they've gradually got that right, because if you lose a test match, you've still got a really good chance to fight your way back and win the series. So then that's a really important thing, because just make it exciting, and we've seen that. And props to Heather Knight as well for going, right, yep, we're making a game of it. So yes. You're getting comments here. I'm going to let you do a plug here. Saad Ahmed says, well done, Bharat. Suresh Rainer's Believe was a great read.
Well, thank you so much, Saad. You're very, very kind. Yeah, the book seems to be doing really well. It's out there. I haven't seen a physical copy of it yet, but it's good. It seems to be well received. So thank you so much. And I also have to say something about what Subhankar is saying. Yes, I mean, this is the most dressed I've been anywhere in life, but especially on Good, Bad, Ridiculous. But it's funny, this has followed me all my life. Every time I actually try to dress up, people call it a costume, not like, with everybody else, it's an attire. For me, it's always a costume. So yeah, there you go. I have to agree. And thank you, Subhankar.
Yeah, and thank you, Jamish, as well, I'm sure, who says, Bharat looking like a rock star. That's another one. Kanye West. Do you know any Kanye West? Can you give us any Kanye West? No.
Not my kind of music. Though I know he could have been US president.
I'm sure you could have been US president if you put your mind to it. Right. Now, the time has come, and we've got a little bit of a surprise. The time has come. So can we get a drum roll, please? Oh, no. I'm not sure if that's a drum roll or if it's someone flushing a toilet, but there's our drum roll. And Barrett, just wait. Do not speak until I tell you you're allowed to. But it's time to announce our goodest thing for the day.
Oh dear. You know what?
That was coming.
I really want to know how many viewers we have tomorrow, because that is a sight that not many people can forget. It's going to haunt me at night. Yeah. I mean, nothing angelic about this face, unfortunately. So that's the closest. Thank you. Thank you, Moku and Mel. And that's
Rati. No, that was Rati. Don't thank Muku. It was Rati.
Sorry, Rati. But this is the closest I've ever come to having fairy wings and looking like an angel. But yeah. So, well, the goodest thing of the day for me, I mean, Shefali Verma is becoming the new Rishabh Pant for us, right? Like, yeah, she has to win it. Look, it's one thing doing it in the first innings, and our viewers are like the best when it comes to numbers. Swaraj Chavan saying Kiran Baluch 264 runs is the most in a women's test match, if I'm not mistaken. So he wants to know if Shefali Verma could match that. That's a great stat. I wasn't aware of that. And why not? He's just 110 runs short.
Yeah, and also, could she do a Bannerman? Oh my gosh. That would be. If she does a Bannerman, she is my favorite cricketer in the world for life.
Well, one thing about her is, if she bats for long enough in India, if India do start losing wickets, and so far Dipti Sharma has done a great job, promoted to number 3 as a left-hander, but she's done a great job holding her end up. But yeah, if she's going to do that, if anyone can, Shefali can.
Absolutely. Okay, time for another drum roll. Or maybe not.
Maybe I should just get my drum kit sorted.
Okay, I'll just do mine. But are you ready? Don't speak again, Bharat. It is time for the baddest thing of the day. Sorry, it kills me.
Oh, God. Baddest thing today, really?
I think that's more accurate than your angelic one. What was the baddest thing of the day?
I have to talk about the match that did not happen. And the baddest thing of the day, though, is not the fact that the English rain did not allow the World Test Championship to start. That is fine. Look, I tweeted and I still stick by it. If you give me an extra day and you say that you can finish your day finish your work in 6 days, Bharat, and I thought that's all I've done all my life. I would definitely take the first day off, which is what the World Test Championship has done. But what my problem was, that I was excited because I thought that would mean we could watch the entire women's test match, the whole of the days or day 3. What am I saying? The whole of play on day 3. But then the rain had to travel to Bristol, and we had so many rain breaks. So, well, rain during an English summer is just what we're used to. But it could have left the Bristol alone at least.
Yeah, I wish it had. And finally, here we go again. It is time for our ridiculous.
Okay, now that's me. that I can completely relate with. Yeah.
That's most true to life, I think, for both of us.
That is true. That is who we are. That is what the good, bad, ridiculous is all about. It's just trying to clown around and people taking us seriously for no reason.
Yeah, I can see everyone watching the show live is absolutely loving those graphics. So thanks again to Rati.
Rati,
where you live.
Yeah, no.
So what wins it for you? Ridiculousest.
I thought it was that moment when Shefali Verma, Sophie Eccleston was bowling and she moved away. And the way she did it as well, like I thought she had turned into WG Grace. I don't think anybody else has moved away. Of course, I think maybe she was distracted. She wasn't ready. But the audacity, even in that, just the way she moved away and put her bat there, and even then the ball came and struck the middle of the bat. I don't think you can just make that happen. That's when you know someone's batting really, really well. But yeah, I mean, she's just not just a ridiculous cricketer, but in the best way possible. But she just has that ridiculous presence. You always hear about. I remember people talking about Steve Smith or Virat Kohli. It's like they decide when the game starts, right? Like the tempo of the game changes based on what they want the tempo of the game to be, and that's what seems to be happening with this youngster. So yeah, that moment for me was the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Someone asking, by the way, Arpan asking, what is it you were talking about? Like, I would be happy if she does a Bannerman or something like that. What does that mean? Charles Bannerman, Australian cricketer, holds the record for the highest percentage of runs scored in a test innings. It's never been broken. It's been there since the history of test began.
First ever test match
ever. First ever test match. So it's a crazy thing. And whenever you see a batter like scoring a lot of the runs, there's always that thought, will they do a Bannerman? If anyone can do it, I think Shafali Verma can do it. But we will see. We will see, and we will be back tomorrow, maybe slightly earlier today. We'll put the graphics up on Twitter. You should get a notification as well to come and join us. Thank all of you for sending in your nomination, for being part of the show. We really appreciate it, for laughing at our silly graphics. They're very, very grateful to Rati for. And we will see you tomorrow.